morning and welcome to Bury Grammar School's Easter Celebrations 2020. Pupils, of course, will be familiar with the tradition of attending Easter assemblies here in the Roger Kay Hall at the end of the spring term. And while, of course, it isn't possible for all of us to come together today as we usually would, a school is about much more than a building. It's about hearts, minds, and a collective spirit. The really strong sense of community we share at Bury Grammar School and the hope this gives us are things in which we rejoice today as we invite you to take part from home in our Easter celebrations. These really unique circumstances, of course, mean that more members of the Bury Grammar community might be able to join us than would normally be the case. Pupils, parents, teachers, support staff and governors, both past and present, as well as our many other supporters and friends of the school. Welcome to Bury Grammar School today. Out of adversity has come something good.
This is a theme you will hear repeated today. The Easter story is one of hope which can be shared with people of all faiths. It provides us with something to hold on to when the going gets tough, when we find ourselves in times of crisis. It is a message of hope which we can all share, no matter who we are. Hope tells us that we will not be overwhelmed. Hope tells us that the light will always be there. Hope and looking to the future are what Bury Grammar School is all about. Today's Easter celebration has been put together at very short notice by a number of people to whom we are all very grateful. You can find the programme for our broadcast on the school website in the news section and on our social media sites. We do hope that you enjoy watching this at home with your families and coming together in the spirit as one community. Our celebration begins with the hymn, "There is a green hill far away," played by Miss Britton.
Matthew chapter 26, verses 36 to 46. Jesus prays in Gethsemane. Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, "Sit here while I go yonder and pray." And taking with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, he began to be sorrowful and troubled. Then he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me." And going a little further, he fell on his face and prayed, "My Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." And he came to the disciples and found them sleeping, and he said to Peter, "So, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." Again, for the second time, he went away and prayed, "My Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, thy will be done." And again he came and found them sleeping, for their eyes were heavy. So, leaving them again, he went away and prayed for the third time, saying the same words. Then he came to the disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and taking your rest? Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand."
When you normally think of a hero, the image you conjure up in your mind's eye isn't usually that of a man on his knees, in a garden, under a tree, seemingly talking to himself. But this is the picture we have of Jesus from St. Matthew's Gospel that Miss Anderson has just read to us. Jesus is battling within himself about making the right decision, doing the right thing, And without that heroic struggle, there would be no Easter Day. We are living through very strange times. I'm speaking to the Bury Grammar School, a community that I've been a part of since I came here 24 years ago, from my study in Tottington. I guess that wherever you may be, listening and watching this, you do so because you too, whether pupil or parent, past or present, staff or member of that family of schools, are in some way part of the Bury Grammar School community. Adversity is a tough instructor, and the example of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane has inspired billions of people over the last 2,000 years. It is true for all of us that at times when we are personally in great difficulty, we learn the most important lessons about ourselves, who we are and what sort of people we want to become. It may be that through the events that surround us at this time, we realise just how very strong we are. We may discover depths of compassion and understanding that we never realised that we possessed. We may begin to look differently at our priorities and what we value most. We may gaze through different lenses and consider from whom we derive our strength and our hope when we feel terribly uncertain. We may be surprised to discover that we, you, are a source of strength and hope and optimism and inspiration to others that you barely know. A friend of mine who is a policeman said to me recently that a really important question to ask ourselves at this time is this: how will people in the future assess how we have responded to the events of today? Doing the right thing, having moral courage, being sacrificial with our time, perhaps in making a phone call or sending a text to make sure someone that we know is all right. Bringing laughter into a conversation requires us to think of the other and what happiness that might bring. Being encouraging requires us to shift our concentration away from ourselves. Sharing someone else's burden removes us from the centre of the wheel, and it reminds us that we belong to each other. And if we do belong to each other, then we must care for each other. All we have to do is simply find the key that opens our hearts and our minds to make that possible. And not just in time of crisis, but in every day of our lives.
Thank you, Reverend Byrne, for that address. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you that the Easter story is full of hope. Thank you that light makes a difference to darkness. Even in the worst times, help us to see that there is always hope. Help us to act positively in the crisis and bring hope to others through our actions and words. Amen. Our second hymn is Thine Be the Glory.
It's been a really fantastic spring term and there's much to be positive about. Junior boys won the Ages quiz, senior school pupils were successful in a Northwest Maths Challenge, 3 students have won places at Oxbridge, and all of our Year 13s made successful university applications and will, we have no doubt at all, go on to achieve great things next year. Year 13s, while you might not have had the opportunity to prove yourself at A-level, we know you appreciate that your Bury Grammar education has been so much more than a piece of paper and will stay with you forever. You and our Year 11s will certainly be generations we'll never forget.
There are great successes in athletics, netball and rugby. A number of Duke of Edinburgh training expeditions took place this year. Music as ever has thrived, with many prizes won at the Ramsbottom Music Festival. World Book Day provoked much excitement and the CCF were in excellent form as they prepared for a most significant Founders' Day. While we are sad that we are not going to be able to hold our Founders' Day this year, we will be marking the important event.
Our 450 celebrations began in January, of course, with the launch of our 450 commemorative plaques and stained glass window. This was followed by the opening of the Fallen Swans exhibition at the Fusiliers Museum and the opening of the gallery at BGS, our very own art gallery, all of which was greeted with much enthusiasm.
As an award-winning, environmentally friendly school, we were also pleased to go plastic-free this term. Our pupils made the most fabulous ambassadors for the school as we welcomed 260 external Year 6 pupils for the entrance exam, and our senior prefect team, led by George Armstrong, the school captain, Olivia Moriarty, head girl, Josh Delahunty, vice captain, and Molly Whitlow, deputy head girl, were absolutely outstanding.
It was also a very significant 50th birthday for one of the heads, and it wasn't mine. But what our pupils might be most interested in is who's ahead in the house competition. So here are the house point totals from the girls' school. And everything is yet to play for, of course. We've still got another term to go, we hope. So in 4th place at the moment, with 1,864 points, are Perigo House. In 3rd place, as we speak, with 1,955 points, are Kitchener. And in 2nd place, at the moment, with 2,065 points, are Nield. So in 1st place, as we stand, 2,084 points for Leicester. So a very close run thing with much time still to go. Now to the boys' school house points.
So, boys' school house points. In 4th place, we have Kay with 1,448 points. In 3rd place, we have Derby with 1,529 points. In 2nd place, we have Hume with 1,568 points. And in 1st place, we have Howard with 1,617 points.
Very good. Reverend Burns said earlier that bringing laughter into a conversation requires us to think of others. Laughter is something we're used to hearing a lot around school, and we can't wait to hear again when all you pupils are back in school. We know, pupils, that you've been looking after each other during this challenging period, and we hope that you're aware that all of your teachers have been impressed with your resilience, no-nonsense approach and good humour in the face of adversity. Year 11s, you and I started at Bury Grammar School on the same day, and we know great things await you in sixth form. It's not over yet. As one girl wrote on social media this week, I can't wait to come back to school. Well, we all feel the same way, and we eagerly await your return.
Recent events have shown, as never before, that our community spirit is strong, and we are there for each other. It is at difficult moments that we see people's true character. It has been clearer than ever this week that our pupils are strong, upbeat, level-headed, hard-working and positive young people who can take challenges in their stride. We are immensely proud of them.
As we end today's assembly, we'd like to repeat words we've used a number of times in recent weeks. We may be living through challenging and uncertain times, but Bury Grammar School represents certainty and is not going anywhere. We're a strong school community with strong and secure foundations. This school, which has been here for 450 years, is planning for many more to come. Thank you, Bury Grammar community, for your support over the last few very difficult weeks, and have a wonderful Easter.
Bury Grammar School will be here to welcome you all back once this period is over, and we really cannot wait for you to return.